Hey, what's going on, everybody? And happy Easter to everyone out there watching this right now. Happy Easter to you too, Mr. Otis.
Yeah,
A lot,
same
a
too there,
lot of
man.
stuff going on yesterday, man. First off, had to open practice and move to indoors yesterday to walk pavilion because of weather conditions and the forecast. But they still got the scrimmage going. Still had practice. Still had family and friends and recruits on campus. 25 recruits to be exact. And Sam Pittman during
Yeah,
the press conference said he met with 8 of them. Still had a lot to go by the end of the day. But talk about those recruits, Otis, that came to the University of Arkansas yesterday.
yeah. There was a lot of recruits there. There's 25 that already had an offer from Arkansas. So that and he said that's the best that he's ever done, getting 25 kids who hold offers on campus. I mean, that the place was packed with recruits,
Right.
with their families and stuff. And I tell you what, there was a lot of talent in that room. He could have
Ooh,
almost, if he could have just got a room, I mean,
a
shut
lot of
that
talent.
room down and made those kids stay there. He would have had him a great recruiting class. You signed 25. Sam could
Yeah.
have signed those 25 and called it a day.
Called it quits.
Yep, that would have been a good. I imagine he would take. I mean, there were some guys like I saw Caleb James there. Connor Stroh was there. Yeah, there was just a bunch of kids there.
Yeah.
I mean, they were walking around, and you know, Luke Haas was there. Jaden Ham. I just saw a bunch of them, and I really wasn't like working recruiting at the time. I was covering the scrimmage, but
Right.
but yeah, you just see the talent there, and I mean, kid like Stroh just stood above the rest. That's not, we're talking about a kid 6'7", 345
Ooh.
pounds. I don't care if you're at an NFL game, the kid in the stands 6'7", 345, he stands out to you. So I mean, yeah, he's Arkansas, Texas A&M, Baylor. I mean, he got some a lot of options there, and
Yeah.
he'll be dropping the top 5 pretty soon too. And I'm pretty sure I feel good. The 4 schools I just mentioned will all be in that top 5. Now I don't know who the 5th one will be,
Right.
but I think the decision's going to come down to those 4 schools though at the end.
Yeah, that's a big fella. 6'7", over 350 pounds. You can't miss him. It was a lot of kids having some fun.
11th grade, 11th grade CJ. I mean,
Ooh,
we're talking about a
11th
C
grade?
from Frisco Wakeland for people wondering, down in Texas. He's from Frisco, Texas.
Wow.
That's his second time to be here this spring. Yeah, second time. I know
Okay.
he was at a prospect day, he got offered right after that, and then he was back Saturday. So yeah, it was 2 times he came this spring. I was trying to think of the third. That's Caleb James has been here. He's wore the road out from down there in Mansfield to Fayetteville. Caleb and his dad have a family, but he's going to be a good one. He's up here recruiting for him, just as was Luke Haas.
Yeah, there was a lot of kids on the sidelines yesterday enjoying what they saw in the open practice, as well as I did, from defensive backs to wide receivers to quarterbacks. And speaking of quarterbacks, let's get to the 2023 recruiting class. And Jaden Rashada, a quarterback, 5-star recruiter. Oh my goodness. Was he in town yesterday for this event?
Yeah, he was, and We're going to talk about the next him and the next one we're going to talk about. I predict one of those 2 will be a Razorback quarterback in this class.
Okay.
They didn't sign one last year.
Right.
We'll talk about a commitment they got on preferred walk on later, but I really believe. And Rashada is a 5-star from Pittsburgh, California. He was here yesterday. Luke Haas and Jaden Ham were working pretty hard over there.
Whew.
I saw him. I saw him over there before the scrimmage. They had him going. They were working pretty hard, and I saw Luke was tweeting to him after the scrimmage.
Yeah.
Saying, come on, jump on board. Rashada passed for 2,220 yards and
Okay.
27 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions as a junior.
Wow.
Rushed for 193 yards and a touchdown. He's got over 30 offers, as you can imagine. I mean, 6'4". He's 6'4", 185. He can go anywhere he wants to go. But
Right.
I think the schools are in the hunt. The SEC would be Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Auburn, and OU. I'm counting OU as the SEC school. Outside the conference, if you're talking about out west, it'd be Arizona State, Washington, UCLA, and then
A
the
lot of offers.
other one is Penn State is in there pretty solid. So that's the other school. I think it'll be one of those 8 schools that gets him. But I think Arkansas has a chance, but I feel much better about the next kid we're going to talk about as far as Arkansas's chance of landing him.
Speaking of the next quarterback, Malachi Singleton, the 4-star. He's a 2023 recruit as well. He's from Kennesaw. Talk about him. No, you didn't. You was ready
Yeah,
to get. You ready to talk about him already? Go ahead and talk
yeah,
about
I
Mr.
love that
Singleton.
kid. I mean, he his teammate Sam Bakke a wide receiver, has already signed with Arkansas, and Malachi will be here this coming Saturday. He has been to a prospect day, and he came to a game but he's coming to the final scrimmage on Saturday for a visit, and he passed for 2,316 yards, and he also had a good rushing total. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, 25 touchdowns. We're talking about a true dual threat quarterback, Malachi. And I think having Sam Bakke and just Jimmy Smith, Sam Pittman, Kendall Browse, and the ties they've got their quarterbacks, and in the state of Georgia, I really think Arkansas will get Malachi. It's going to come down probably. Yeah. This is a weird deal. And for people asking, Georgia has offered him, and he's got a ton of offers. But I think this is going to come down to Arkansas and UCL. And the reason I say that, he's got a lot of family ties in his family to UCL. And Gus has done a good job recruiting him. I think it's going to be one of those two schools, but I see Arkansas and the SEC winning out in the end for Malachi. And, he's going to come in here with 2 years between the last quarterback they signed and him, and really maybe 3 now because Lucas Coley transferred. So you're talking about really they haven't signed a scholar. They've signed, but they don't have a scholarship quarterback on campus since Malik Hornsby signed, And so we're talking about a long time ago. So, this is an opportunity for a quarterback to come in here. You've got KJ in his 4th year. We all know that if he has a great year, he's probably going to the NFL.
Yeah, he's definitely gone, for sure.
Yeah, he's been here 4 years. So Malachi is a kid that really be worth keeping your eye on next weekend, because I think Arkansas's got a great chance there. I'm hoping to reach out to him this week and get a hold of him. But he's a dandy. Well, both these kids, and if they can get either one of those kids, CJ, they've answered their quarterback question in this class. Either one of them, you take either one you get. And glad you got it, because they can both those kids can bring it. They've got a lot of offers for a reason, because they can play.
Both of those guys sound very, very interesting. But Malachi, like you were saying, a dual threat quarterback. Sam Pittman and the coaching staff like those dual threats, from KJ Jefferson to Malik Hornsby, and from even Forden. I seen him in the open practice yesterday. He can get going. He got a little speed to him.
Oh yeah. Let me have one thing on Malachi. He's 220 pounds. That gives you
it's a big QB.
That gives you the KJ Jefferson type kid coming out of high school. He's 6'1", 220. So he's a big kid. Yeah. And Arkansas fans love to see KJ out there at that side.
Yeah, they do.
Malachi can do that too. And we're talking about 220 pounds in the 11th grade and can run.
Goodness.
So we're talking about a kid that's got some athletic ability, a lot of athletic ability. Both those do, as I said, if you get either one of those, Sam Pittman will be elated. So will Kendall Browse and that staff, as they should. And every receiver over there will be elated.
Now, we still have one more QB to get to. Another 2022, though, quarterback, Riki Sebo from Jonesboro. He's from Arkansas. I'm sure he's seen his Arkansas quarterback staff and what they have to bring, and what can he bring to this quarterback.
Well, he committed yesterday. He's going to be a preferred walk-on. We're talking about another kid that's 6'4", 195 pounds. He was, my friend Kevin Tuberville at the Jonesboro Sun, had him the best, the MVP, the player of the year for the Jonesboro Sun. It's called the best under the sun, most valuable player. I believe that's what it's called. I believe that's what it's called over in Jonesboro. It's the Jonesboro Sun paper. Kevin Tuberville, sports editor over there, does a great job. But this kid's 6'4", 195. He passed for 3,058 yards and 39 touchdowns last year. So he knows what he's doing when he's got the football in his hand. He can bring it. And, he's probably not your true dual threat quarterback, but he's a big kid. And hey, look, you're getting a preferred walk-on. You need numbers. Like I said, Lucas Coley transferred to Houston.
Right.
So now you're down to 2 scholarship quarterbacks, and you've got a preferred walk-on. You came from Ole Miss last year. You got the preferred walk-on that you talked about from South Florida earlier. So you need to try to add another one in this class. That's what they're doing. And that will buy them some time till they get to the next class. Like I said, we just hit on the 2 that they're really, there's others they're aiming at, but those are the 2 I think it's at the top of the wish list for quarterbacks. And that's me talking. I don't know, Sam might disagree with that, but that's fine. But I know those are 2 great quarterbacks. But Sebo is he's an athletic kid. He plays baseball. He's friends with Josh Heineman, the baseball recruit who signed with.
He's a dual sport kid.
Yeah, so Yeah, and Jonesboro's been good to them. They've got John Paul Pickens, a defensive back over there too, that's coming to Arkansas. Third walk on in this class, so they got some kids. I mean, Jonesboro's sending some kids this way. I know Arkansas State comes over here to play baseball this week, but Arkansas's got those kids coming from Jonesboro. They're doing well over there. It's Ohio. You got Shad Stewart. You know, you've had Noah Gatlin.
Right.
You know, you had kids, Matt Gilbo. You had kids from Jonesboro come this way, and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon.
Nah, it doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon.
Man, I want to mention him too, a linebacker.
Now Jonesboro isn't so far. And you said who you want to mention too?
No, I said Marco Aban, linebacker at Arkansas from Jonesboro. I didn't want to leave him out. I was trying to. Okay. I'm doing this off the top of my head, naming these kids. If I left someone out, believe me, it's not intentional. But I mentioned Shad Stewart, Noah Gatlin. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned, the linebacker too.
Okay, now also let's move to the defensive side. 2024. Talked about 2022. Talked about 23. Let's go to 24. This time it's going to be Charleston Collins, defensive end. Now, defense is pretty big over here in Arkansas. You know that, Otis. Yeah. What can he bring to the defensive side of the ball?
I tell you what, they're forcing this old man to have to use what little bit of a brain I got. Keeping up with it's like a computer, man. 2022, 2023,
man. Every time I just got to say
wrote about Kane Archer the other day, man. I mean, this is killing me. But no, Charleston Collins is from Pine Bluff. Defensive end is sophomore, 6'5" and about 255, 260. Plays tight end over there for the Zebras. So, yeah, we're talking about a 10th grade. And he had 57 tackles, 12 for a loss, 6 sacks, a fumble recovery. Arkansas offered him, yes. He is the 4th kid from Arkansas in the 2024 class that holds an offer now from the Razorback. They've offered Braylon Russell from Lakeside, who's committed, Benny Winters, from an offensive lineman from Malvern, Brian Huff, a linebacker from Valley View in Arkansas, and now we've got Charleston Collins. So, yeah, it's just a big kid. He had. I ran a story yesterday. People on there on Pig Trail Nation or Hogville and look at the picture of him standing next to Sam Pittman. You can see that. You know, I always use the same line on these big linemen. I'm proud I don't have to feed them because I tell you what, I bet he can pack food away. But he does. Pine Bluff's always got great athletes. They've always got great athletes, and this kid is one of them. And he's got very good academics. He's just somebody that you definitely. I was not surprised that Arkansas offered him yesterday. Let me just put it that way. I really figured that was coming because first place, you don't grow 6'5", 255, 60-pound kids.
Right.
In the
you don't grow those guys.
He's out here, Sam Pittman go out here, him and Pete Gowns go out here and pick 2 or 3 of them off the limb, I mean, those don't grow on trees. So you got to recruit them and offer them and recruit them. And they did. And, he has an offer from Arkansas State. That's the 2 offers right now that Charleston got. I'll tell you what's going to happen, though. Now that Arkansas State and Arkansas have offered him, you're going to see more schools. I'll bet you Memphis and some other schools starts coming in on him. That's what happens when Arkansas offers these kids. Think on these in-state kids. C.J. Turner from Star City committed to Colorado yesterday. That was one that Arkansas I was hoping would offer. But I think sometimes some of these schools look at these kids and if Arkansas has an offer, they think, well, why not? But Colorado, Mark Smith was assistant coach here that's at Colorado now, and he knows his state pretty well, and he knows what a player he's getting at C.J. Turner. So, he wasn't hesitant at all. But I think some schools were a little hesitant. And I'm not talking about C.J. in particular, just in general, kids that know what I'm saying. Charleston Collins got offered now. Watch him get some more offers now. Watch more schools coming in. That's what I'm saying, and not singling out any one single part. It's not their fault anyway. It's just some schools are annoyed about, why isn't Arkansas?
You're right, though. You can't grow those guys on trees. You can't just put them out in the sun, put some water on them, and just expect them to grow. Those guys are huge. 6'7", 6'8" guys, over 300 plus pounds.
I got a pretty big backyard.
Pretty big guys.
Trees, I'd become an agent and get me a tree planted out here and get a few of them growing, man. I'd start peddling those kids.
I'd get a whole field of them if I could do that. I'd just make my own football team and just grow.
That's right, man.
Now,
I'll be calling these coaches up. Sam, I've got me about 6'5", 300 pound kid. What's the bidding price? No, I'm joking on all that. But no, I mean, that's why you offer a kid like that, because as I said, they're rare and can run, got academics. He's got the total package. Athletic, can run, got good academics, when you get a kid like that, you're going to offer him, and you're going to do everything you can to keep him in the state, and I think Arkansas. I think Arkansas will end up keeping him, but we'll see. That's why
Right.
it's called recruiting.
That's why. That's exactly why. Now, one more time before we get out of here, we touched on it just a little bit. 25 recruits on campus. Talk about the atmosphere yesterday with those guys on campus. Even though it was supposed to be at Razorback Stadium, they pulled it inside the Walker Pavilion. It was still a lot of people there. When I came in, I was like, I was not expecting this many people. Talk about the
No,
atmosphere yesterday.
I wasn't either. It was closed to the public, but you had parents,
Yeah.
and then when you have recruits, you got parents that came with them. You had some former
family,
players,
friends, all. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some former players, Anthony Hicks, and some others there, and so it, what they did, they got to see the actual Razorbacks. Where's a prospect day? You come up, you put on the uniform, you do all that stuff. With scrimmages, they got to see the coaches. For instance, Rashada, he got to see Kendall Briles work with KJ Jefferson, Malik Hornsby, Cade Fortin, Luke Hodge got to see Dylan, got to see the tight ends work, Dow Loggins work with the tight ends. Jaden Ham got to see that. So, that's what you see in scrimmage. I like that, and so Arkansas put on a show for them. And I tell you what, everybody left there. They were talking about Drew Sanders, this kid they were talking about. The linebackers there yesterday. What? Bumper Pool is great. And I tell you what, you team him with Drew Sanders.
Bumper Pool.
Paul.
Poole laid the hammer one. He laid the hammer one good time. He tried to hold himself back, but that hit was huge.
Man, he got out there on that edge with Malik Hornsby. Nobody gets on the edge on Malik Hornsby. He gets one-on-one, but it's over with.
It's over.
You start the music when Malik gets out there, and Drew Sanders shows up. And it's my old professor used to say, get the hymn book shovel out now because it's over. That was a play, man. But Drew's done that. Hey, there's a reason Drew Sanders was a 5-star down at Denton Ryan. There's a reason. And he's had some good coaching at Alabama. Yeah. He'll get great coaching over here from Mariota, Michael Shear, and Bumper Pool is there. The good thing about Bumper is he can play. He's talented. But another good thing about Bumper is he's there. I asked him, he's there to lead the Poopaws, even the Drew Sanders, who's learning a new
young guys.
Jackson Woodards, the Caden Henleys, the Jordan Crooks. That's invaluable.
Right.
You got the coach, Mike can do that. But I'm telling you, when it comes from one of your peers, your teammate, Bumper, he said, hey, I owe it that because Grant Moore, Aiden Handling, those guys worked with me. Dre Greenlaw, Scooter Harris, they worked with Bumper. So, so he's doing now, he's paying back for what he got, and that's what a great person and great player does. And that's what Bumper is. He's first class all the way, always has been. He was a 4-star down there at his high school. He was a 4-star at Lucas Lovejoy, and then Drew was a 5-star at Denton Ryan, pretty nearby. But they didn't know it. I asked Drew if he knew Bumper before he got here. You have camps and combines, and kids coming in. But he said he didn't know Bumper. I was a little surprised. I know Dallas, I get that, but you've got camps and you got combines, Nike events. I was a little surprised he didn't know him, but he didn't. So, but he knows him now, and they're teammates. There's gonna be some SEC offenses. Malik Hornsby knows him now too. There's gonna be some SEC offenses. They already know Bumper, and they're gonna know Drew before it's over with.
Yeah, Texas is just so huge. There's just so many football players. My goodness, it's huge from Houston to Dallas to San Antonio to Austin. It's a lot. But I'm glad he's passing the torch down and showing the young guys how to do things, and the young guys appreciate it. We heard Pooh Paul talking about Grant Morgan and those guys from last year, so they definitely appreciate it, Otis.
Pooh Paul, then Caden Henley, Jordan, and Manny Powell. Manny Powell's a kid. We haven't seen him at practice, but now but I'm telling you, Manny Powell's another linebacker. We kind of forget because he's not out there because of that ACL injury. Yeah. But when that gets well, they've got a great linebacker coming in there, and Manny Powell. We can't forget him.
Can't forget about him. And we'll get the young guys coming in like Santigua from Fayetteville. So a lot of guys that we still are missing right now in the open practice. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
the year is going to be fun, and a lot of recruits came in yesterday, and they're going to be coming in for years to come. Otis, I appreciate you, man. We're going to come back next week for another Otis
Bet.
Kirk football recruiting report, guys.